Welcome back to the show. Former All-Pro running back Ryan Westbrook joins us. Like my brothers, they just go and go, and it's awesome.
How many brothers do you have?
I have one younger brother.
Oh, okay. Well,
and let me tell you, they are nothing like either one of you, but I love you guys as if you were my brothers.
Thanks,
all right, let's talk Odell Beckham Jr., Brian.
Me and you the only brothers you John, tell me two brothers.
That's right.
Al Roker. That's one. That's two.
Brian, focus. Despite his star power, Odell we're talking about, and his talent and his seemingly perfect personality fit here in New York, Odell Beckham Jr. is reportedly still on the trade block. GM Dave Gettleman addressed this earlier this season, saying, "We didn't sign Odell to trade him, and yet the rumors are aplenty that he may be gone next season." Does this surprise you in any way, Brian?
You know, when you talk about putting special players around quarterbacks, Odell is one of the special guys that you want to put around him. But it comes down to this, and I think Pat Sherman, I know Pat pretty well with my time with him in Philadelphia. He wants good fits. He wants guys that want to buy into the program. He wants to buy into what we're doing as far as a team. And it just seems that Odell probably hasn't bought in to the team aspect of what Pat Sherman is trying to present. The other part of that is he's one of the assets that you can go get a lot of pieces with. Your first-round pick, a second-round pick, some players. He's probably one of those only assets that you have on that Giants team that you can go get players with because he's such a special player. And they want to build around the running back. They want to build around Saquon Barkley.
Well, and I think they know that Odell has had something of a wandering eye. Odell, I don't think it's breaking news to say that Odell has entertained the idea of what would it be like playing in Los Angeles? What would it be like playing with Tom Brady? What would it be like playing somewhere else? Not to say Odell has at any point demanded a trade. Odell signed that contract happily. Odell hasn't said, I don't want to be in New York. But so he hasn't asked for a divorce, but he sure seems to be flirting with other people quite a bit. And that might make a team say, we won't actively try to trade you.
But we're not going to hang up on you if you call.
Right. We will let it be known that, you know, through sources that if you call us and knock us over. Now, are they in a situation like Pittsburgh where they would trade Odell for 30 cents on the dollar? I believe absolutely unequivocally not. I think it would have to be what the Cowboys got for Amari Cooper, I'm sorry, the Raiders got for Amari Cooper, and then some. I think it would have to be more than just a first-round pick, given what it would do to their salary cap with all the signing bonus hitting them immediately, and the fact that they clearly want to compete for one more year with Eli Manning, and Odell's their only reliable, true wide receiver. Ingram's fine as a tight end, Saquon's great as a running back. But I don't think we should, even though Gettleman's been adamant, I didn't sign him to an extension to trade him, I don't think we should dismiss this report or dismiss the idea that he could be traded before the season. And if he is, some of it will be his own doing in my mind.
Wait, let me ask you guys this, and you have to think this. Gettleman's always throwing this out there. We may trade him, we may trade him. Maybe this is a way for him to say, Odell, you need to start acting right and do things the way that we want to do it. Do the way that Pat Shermer, because we will trade you. And if you want to be here, you need to do it the right way. You need to do it our way. And that wandering eye, that's something that's important for coaches. You want buy-in. I want you to buy into our program. I want you to be here in the offseason. I want you to help our team get better. I want you to be a leader on our football team. I think they're trying to get all those things from Odell Beckham Jr. And the question is, can he give you that?
Well, I disagree with both of you. I'd be shocked if they trade him. I believe it would be an idiotic move for them to be able to trade him. His contract is just now starting, the new one. And based on what's going to happen this offseason, watch what happens to Michael Thomas in New Orleans. He's going to get a new deal. He's on his rookie deal. As a second-round pick, he's due a new deal after this. Julio Jones held out last year. Arthur Blank told me to my face, I'm going to take care of Julio. So Julio Jones sitting there at $11 million. Seeing Antonio, what he got at Oakland, something's going to happen. A.J. Green, he's in the last year, all right, at over 30. But, yes, A.J. Green is a commodity. Nicest guy you ever want to meet. So look for A.J. Green to get a bump up.
Tyreek Hill.
And Tyreek Hill is going to be the highest paid of them all. So the landscape of the NFL and the salaries, when you look at where Odell's going to be,
he's going to be a bargain all of a sudden.
It's going to. So why would I let him go? He is a once every generation type of player. And regardless of what you guys say, there's nothing that he has done that I'm going to let him out of this locker room, because you have to replace that productivity. And, man, those draft picks don't turn into Odell Beckham. He's one of the top 3, top 4 wide receivers in the league right now. And he hadn't even hit his potential. Like, he's going to get a lot better than he is right now. Now, there is a thing with these wide receivers, like AB, everyone's not Julio Jones. Everyone's not Larry Fitzgerald. So you might still have some maintenance with some of these other guys that Julio Jones, people don't say anything, but he had a silent protest last year. Okay? I ain't coming to the building until something is done. So is that more drastic than what Odell has seen? So for me, the Giants, I'll be shocked if they trade him, and the Giants are not doing themselves a favor by allowing these things to be out there. They should get ahead of it. Gettleman should always just say, no, he's not to be traded. He should be more emphatic than he has been every press conference. He should start it with Odell Beckham is not on the trade market. Now, that's not going to prevent you from getting your phone rang.
Making an offer.
All right, now, someone gives you 3 number 1s or something crazy like that, I can understand that. But right now, they are not doing themselves a favor by allowing this conversation to continue, because if you know a guy's got a wandering eye,
then nip it in the bud is your point.
Right. The big question still has to be, can you win with this type of receiver? Julio, Larry Fitzgerald, AB, Odell.
That to me is a more honest conversation.
Well, teams still haven't won with those guys on their roster.
Absolutely.
So maybe Gettleman, maybe Shermer are saying.
What do you mean by those guys?
He means we haven't seen a Super Bowl champion with one of these superstar wide receivers in a very long time. Now, I would argue that we kind of did with the Falcons. Julio made the catch that should have won that damn Super Bowl, and they were in position, kick a field goal, and the game's over. Like, I don't buy into the idea that, well, because the last 11 Super Bowl champs haven't had one of the 3 best wide receivers in football, therefore that means you don't need them. In fact, they prevent you from winning. I think having great players helps you win championships. What, Steve?
Yeah, well, that's amazing, because you're into the numbers, and now the numbers don't tell your story, so now you don't believe in the numbers.
No. So I
believe great wide receivers are overrated. As far as putting the salary cap together and trying to win football games. Me and my guy Dusty, I'm sure you'll love this. Right now in the NFL, if you look at what's the best personnel, how you want to attack people, it's not with 3 wide receivers on the field. It's either a fullback and 2 tight ends, or 2 tight ends and 1 running back. Right now, if you want to attack offenses, because they spend all their time trying to stop nickel defenses. So I could have an argument, if I'm running an offense, yes, Chris Carter, Hall of Fame wide receiver, would you much rather be in with 3 wide receivers on the field, or a fullback potentially and another tight end? I'm going to go the conventional route, because I believe it's easier to defend 3 wide receivers right now than the other aspect.
The idea there is when the whole league is zigging, you zag, right? When the whole league has gone to nickel defense, when the whole league has gone to small people and speed defensively, if we can now go the other way.
That's what New England did to the Rams in the Super Bowl.
It's exactly what New England did. And so the idea that trying to always be counterintuitive when the league has overcorrected in one direction, I think there is something to that. But when you say, I like the numbers, but the numbers don't tell my story. So last year, there was a narrative, which is, look at all the highest paid quarterbacks, and all those teams missed the playoffs. Maybe spending a lot of money on quarterback kills you. That, to me, was...
Well, Tom Brady's not one, so he's not going to be on the list.
Right. Aaron Rodgers got hurt.
Exactly. We had a few teams that didn't make the playoffs. It was an odd year. You don't have 11 years.
Well,
with the other numbers.
Right, but it was not Julio's fault the Falcons didn't win that Super Bowl. And if they do, then that streak is broken, right? It was not Randy's fault.
Well, it's not a streak. It would have been like the numbers still say you shouldn't have a high-paced they would have one win.
Okay, so I do not believe, and you cannot convince me, that there is any correlation between an inability to win a championship and having a star receiver. Because we have seen so many teams with these star receivers come this close.
No, that's not the conversation. The conversation is, if I'm going to attack people from a salary cap standpoint, will I be better off spreading that money around to the other positions, having a couple running backs, having 2 or 3 tight ends, having a fullback? I think that's what our conversation is.
Teams have been much more successful spreading the ball around, getting the ball to a lot of different people. To your point, 2 tight ends, 1 running back, it's much easier, and you'll complete much more passes, first, second down, getting the ball shorter passes.
And the numbers say that.
to tight ends, to running backs out of the backfield, instead of trying to get the deep threat with the wide receiver. That's what the big play receivers are all about.
And the point you're making about you have to look at the value proposition given salary, I am all in on that. I totally agree with you. But that doubles back to the beginning of the conversation. Odell's about to be a bargain.
Yeah.
At $18 million per. Like, he was top of the market. That was brief. AB passed him. You mentioned 3 or 4 other guys that are going to pass him. So if you have...
Yeah, I wouldn't call it a bargain. I would call it a good price.
Okay.
You're not overpaying for it. Now, if he was making 10, 11 million,
okay, sure.
The AJ Green.
I'll tell you this: if I'm Saquon Barkley, I want Odell Beckham Jr. on my team.
100%.
You find a way to make that work somehow.
But do you all agree that Odell's most likely going to be a Giant to start?
I think they would have to. I think someone would have to offer the Giants a first-round pick and something else legitimate, like a first and a second. And then I think they have to have a very real conversation about it. I don't know that that offer is going to be made, but I don't think they're hanging up the phone.
Right.
Like, there are certain teams that are hanging up the phone if you call about a player.
Right.
The Giants, I think, are hanging up the phone if you call about Saquon. I don't think they're hanging up the phone.
Giants, I got a message for you. You trade Odell. Don't draft my man Haskins. Don't bring him up here to New York, man. Don't do us no favors, man.
Brian, stick around. Take a break. Coming up, can Deshaun Jackson revive his career in Philly? Next on First Things First.